Okay, welcome back. Uh, my newest addition. I know I started off saying y'all aren't gonna see me using no fancy tools, yada yada. I've been wanting one of these for a long time. Heck of a deal on Marketplace. I scored this one yesterday, so we're gonna use it. It's a sheet metal shear, press brake, and bead roller all in one. You can get them from Harbor Freight. I was actually looking at one for $600, but I was like, I'm gonna wait until they send me a coupon. Got this one for way less with the stand, so we're gonna use it now. And the first thing I'm gonna do, show you what I got here. This rectangle is going to be, I'll show you here in a minute, but the spare tire well in the 280. Okay, the spare tire well, obviously rusted out, very common. Okay, so we got our new slip roll, press brake, and all that. Just tried shearing with it and that didn't work, so we're just gonna go straight to the slip roll, which is the part that I mostly need right now. Now, if I wanted to take and adjust all this, I could maybe do the press brake part, because I will need a couple of flanges, but they need to be round, because this is the round bottom of the spare tire well. So, we're just going to pick, this side's going to be up, and I adjusted this, when I got this thing in last night, I adjusted it with a test piece. I'll show you that real quick. And it seems to fit the contour pretty well. So what we want is to make this piece into that. So, let's just throw her in there and start rolling. And once it hits the back roller, it'll start to go up. But it doesn't appear to be doing much of anything right now. So, we'll back him back out. So we'll come back out flat. Alright, to right. Right there. Alright, now I'm going to use that edge, run my adjusters in a little bit on the back. I believe, mostly this one, because that one appears to be up higher. Let's run that in a little too. Alright, let's roll him again and see. It could just be that this metal is much thicker than that I rolled last night, so it's going to take considerable more pressure. Could be that I've never used one of these before, and I don't know what I'm doing. Typically, this bend would be made by taking a tire, especially for a spare tire well, taking a tire approximate the diameter I need, and just shoving it down over it. That's the way to do it if you don't have one of these. So, this is supposed to be easier. I'm beginning to wonder. Let's run him up some more. Don't want too much curve, but I do need some curve. You'd think they'd have some gauges or, some markings or something to kind of give you an indication. Some way to sync those two together as well. I'm sure there are more expensive, better versions of these that probably do more of a job. Now we're getting somewhere. Yeah, now we're starting to curl. Still don't think it's quite enough, but I can always curl it some more. It's easier to curl than uncurl, right? Okay, we're trying to match this. We're not even close yet. We're getting there. And actually, it's probably easier to roll it through more times than try to curl it all at once, especially with the heavier gauge metal. Like I said, my first time using one of these, so don't take this as expert advice by no means. Oh, that's going to be too much. No, I think it's going to be close to the right. Maybe a little much. Alright. Yeah, it's a little tight. A little bit much. Okay. Now we'll just do the old push it down over your knee to where you want it. That looks pretty close. Now for this next part, I'm going to have to get my metal shrinker, because we got to make a flange, but it needs to come up with that curve. So now this one I didn't even make a template, I just measured it out. And here, let me show y'all real quick what we're making. Anybody who's familiar with these Z-cars probably already knows. But got a little Swiss cheese down there. So that's what we're making. You have to have this flange is what I'm talking about. And then there will be a bend up on the other side. So that's where the shrinker stretcher will come in. We're going to do it the old-fashioned way. Now, I'm also going to be lazy and not even hunt up the correct body hammer and just use this handy dandy claw hammer that happened to be laying here. Okay, now I want a good healthy flange on this thing. So we're going to take and lay him right there and just start hammering this around. This is why it needs big strength. Perhaps after I get the flange bent, I can shrink it some more. I don't know. I think maybe the shrinking it did help some, because if I hadn't have done that, this would be trying to flatten out a lot more than it is, I believe. But after I get the flange, I'll go back over it, because it is flattening it out some. Oh no, not too bad. I'm going to go ahead and do the other side here. The trick to it is, especially when you're working with a curved piece like this, you got to work that flange down a little bit at a time. You can't just bend this part all the way down in it, because if you do that, it's going to really try and flatten it out. I'm going to have to let it just kind of buckle a little bit when it does that in order to maintain shape. Well, now one side's off from the other, so this side needs more curve. fit it everywhere but where I want it to be in. Okay, now this side's arcing more than this side. Let's see if we can catch this side up a little bit. Too much arch there. Just over here. Okay, well, I'm gonna take it back there, test fit it, see what it's gonna take to make it fit. This is not going near as smoothly as I hoped. I was hoping having the new machine and the shrinker stretcher was make this gonna go nice. It's not cooperating. So, looks like I'm stuck with hammering, welding, and all that good stuff again. But, I got a good start. Alright, so after a first test fit, there's a bump in that I need to work in. Kind of overlooked that in the initial. Anyway, so we need to bend it here instead of where it was. Now for 2 inches it comes in pretty much straight, so I'm just going to take and tighten this splice back up a little bit, and we're going to try and bend him a little bit there. Now my problem is my mark is on the wrong side. So I'll put my fingers on the mark, slide it in until well, let's move the cutoff wheel out of the way. Fingers on the mark, slide it in until that's against the vise, and then see if I made my mark. Oh yeah, we're good. Okay, we're going to do that again. Fingers on the mark, slide into the vise. Okay, we're getting there now. Need to keep the roundness in it too. Alright. So now we got this shape in here. Now, don't think I lost too much round. Did let this round a little here, that's okay. It don't have to be super square. And we got a little side to make it. Oh yeah, let's do the other side because that helps. Kind of get a little more curve back into it. Okay, let's do that on the other end. Okay, this side is not wanting to cooperate. The flange is just not looking right because it's wider in there. I didn't even try to look up and see if anybody made these. Sure would have been easier. Usually when I try that, I'm usually disappointed with what I find, so yeah. Besides, what fun would that be? Y'all wouldn't get to watch me struggle. Alright. Starting to look like it might possibly fit. Okay, so it turns out it's a little bit wide, so we're going to try and narrow it up a little bit. Okay, it's got the width back close, but now I got to try and bring my curve back around. back corner in a little bit too. Alright. Now, a little more. That's where the shrinker might help. I don't know. I can't tell the difference in the parts that I went over with the shrinker and the parts I didn't, so let me put it in here and see if it'll do its thing. Why did I open that up so much? I don't know. I thought those bolts heads were way bigger. Wait. That's the stretcher. Wrong one. And they're even color coded. Alright. So, I want to work this part a little bit. This might be considered abusing your tools, but the nicer shrinker stretchers are pneumatic, so alright, for another test fit, and hopefully, wow, that looks crooked as hell. Hopefully, it looks like it fits in the hole better than it does standing here looking at it. Alright, so basically it almost fits. There's these three little humps for strength, and those will help because I'm trying to get this to curve more. So by bringing those in, we'll help that to curve more. So let's get those in. Okay, come on. This next one's going to be a bit tricky. You have to try it on this side. Get this extra strap out of the way. Get the basics up here. Okay, so let me bring this a little closer. So you got our dimples here. It'll line up with that side. So when I cut it off, and I'm going to weld that in. And that helped to bring her back up, I think. hopefully enough. That would be great curve if it was a full-size spare, but on this car, it didn't even have a donut. It had a flat spare and a can of air. All you ZX guys know what I'm talking about. So anyway, I think that's about it for tonight. I'm going to test fit this one more time. And yeah, I don't think I'm going to be doing any welding tonight. I'm starting to get a little hungry, so that's been quite a job to make that out of a piece of flat metal. Knew it was going to be. Was even tempted to fiberglass it, but I don't. If you fiberglass over rust, you're just making the problem worse. So. Okay, we've got her all test fitted in there and looking pretty good. It's got to go down more, but I'll have to work it in. And I got to get this old piece out before I can do that. So that's what we're going to start on now. Although, what I needed to do, wait a minute. Here, let's throw that back down in there for a second. So, say it's got to go down more, but we're going to mark a perimeter around here so we know how much not to cut. And how much more down we need to go too, so I think it's time to get a new Sharpie or 3. Let's not get a multicolor pack this time. That silver one's about worthless on this kind of work. Oh yeah, push it down in there real good. Now you can't get it back out. Oh. Well, I'm going to start by cutting down here. I'm going to try and just cut out just the minimal that will take care of the rest pretty much. And then we'll work our way around to making them fit right. I'm going to let her have a good overlap though. Okay, definitely want the safety glasses here. And by the way, the gas tank is out, so this is why I wanted to go ahead and get this part done now while the gas tank is out. Pinching me for some reason. Well, not me, but the disc. Okay, I can get around this corner. Slightly. Okay, let's start across here maybe. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make me a couple slots and break out the Sawzall. This is too much aggravation. Now there's a dip over here, so I'm going to go in the flat part of that dip because I don't want all these humps and lumps here. So, and that's above all the rust, so should be good. Doesn't that sound lovely? Alright, so I'm not sure about Sawzall on this bottom part, but we're going to make a slot for it. Okay. Make our slot a little bigger over here. Which is more dangerous, the unshielded cutoff wheel or the Sawzall in here? Ow! There's your answer. Let's try that again. Get back in there. Let's just make sure it works that. Get the fight with the trouble light here. Okay. All but that little corner there. I wonder if I can access that from underneath. Alright, now we're just going to go right up through there where I can and then deal with this last flange right here because I want to actually chisel that whole piece off, so hopefully I can clean up the piece underneath and get something better to weld to, or at least get rid of as much rust as possible. Now, the cool thing about this Sawzall is you can do this. The bad thing is my little guard plate's missing. Ta-da! See if we can knock this little chunk off. Well. There we go. Now, sure would be nice to have an air chisel, and I could just knock that right out. And I do have one somewhere. I haven't seen it for a long time, so, and I've already looked for it and haven't found it, so aside from going buying a new one, I don't have one. Now the rest of that under there is pretty good. The inner rocker or inner quarter, drop off, what do you call that, is in good shape. Just need this piece of rust right there removed. So let's see what we can do with that. Okay. Now we got some gloves, we got a chisel, and we've lost the hammer that I just had. Oh, there it is, on the bumper. Okay, safety glasses back down. Ooh, hey! And yes, I've probably got the wimpiest screwdriver I've got right now. But just tapping on it to get that started. Oh yeah, that's nice. So I think if I can get this piece out, the piece in behind it should be in good shape. Well, let's hope so. Let's jump the gun. I don't think them spot welds are going to put up much of a fight anyway. See if I can find an actual chisel. Well, I think y'all pretty much get the gist of it, and that's pretty much got it all. Got one little spot I still got to work over here, but I'll have to find the, well, I just got to chisel it down. And I'm about to take a break, and we're going to take a filming break, and probably come back when I'm pretty much about done. Oh man, that looks good though, and it's actually down there pretty close to where it should have been. Here, hold on. See how? Oh yeah. That's it. So, definitely not an easy paste to make, and not an easy piece to install. But if it was easy, everybody'd do it, I guess. Probably not. Okay, let's check this out, make sure that we got all that. Ah, yes. That made a hole in the wrong spot. Doing a little switcheroo here.